Daisy chains and sweet champagne, and 2 days alone with you. Not too far from the city by car, or maybe we can make a more romantic trip by train to the country. It's where I want to be with you for the week.
Good fabulous morning, folks. It is a very frosty Sunday morning. Today is the 12th, and beautiful. Look at that. Look at the clearness. Oh my goodness, beautiful skies. We're gonna have some fun today. Today you only get to check out the frost in the shade here. It's gonna be a cool, brisk morning. It's still probably in the 30s, with the frost only being in the shady areas, like over there around the turkeys. I've already been up and about out here in the shop, getting things prepared and ready to go. Here's our pad. Today we're going to do part 2. I don't know, it might be the final part 2 at least, of the cheese presses, and I'm getting things situated here. I've done a little bit more preparation since we last talked. After we finished part 1, I went ahead to making out the circle pieces for the press plate, which will go on the end of that thing, which is a push arm. We'll show you that in a second. So we have the framing here. We have the push arm here. We have the push arm foot here, and I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to put that together, but we'll see here in a bit. We have the table, I want to call it, the plate that's going to sit there where the cheese will go. I've gone ahead and glued up the frame. I'll have to do some sanding on it, but we've gone ahead and glued up the bottom frame. That will go there, and we have the 2 sets. We have this one and this one, and then I have what will be the lever arm that we have yet to put together. We still got to cut that out, and then we have the side brace gusset, like I said, that will go on here for the lever arm, and that needs to be worked out. So where are we at today? I guess I could do a quick cursory review of the dimensions on this thing. These are a width, whatever you want to make them, to however you want to make them. I've got them just a hair over 4 inches, 4 1/4 or something like that. But the length is going to be based on the distance from here to here that you're going to want. So I've got essentially a nominal 10 by 10, but it's actual 10 here, 9 7/8 from here to here because of what I could get out of my wood. And these lengths were cut according to that width, minus the lengths of those two, or the widths of those two. So they sit on there nice and cleanly. This is going to be 3/4 of an inch longer, so you have a 3/8 extension on either end, so that I can put it into a dado that will go between the 2 verticals. This is a full 3.5 inches wider, because it's going to extend to the full extension of the guide slots that will run in here. So this is 11. This is 10 3/4. So there's 10, 10 3/4, and 11.5. Or excuse me, 11 3/4. 10 3/4 and 11 3/4. That way it sticks through. It was going to be 11.5. However, this particular set of boards, those are at 3/4. These are at 7/8, because I had to plane these down a little bit more to get them cleaned up nicely. So this one's a little bit thicker, just because of the nature of, I don't need to plane them down any more than I need to. So this one is get my tape measure. And yes, I have had my coffee. Hold on here. This one is 16 inches. and then this one is 24 inches. And saying there's the only variation is, like I said, these are a little thinner on that set because of the planing. And I have cut those pieces to length to match the width of the boards, if you understand that. So here's what we're going to have to do. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it all. We've got to do some layout. Let's just put it that way. So we need to do some layout on here. So I need to lay out on the side pieces where the datas are going, and here to receive that piece here, this one, in it. Then I need to lay out a slot in here for the notched. I'm going to cut this corner out here, and here. So there's a piece here that rides in the slot here to help guide, the push plate down. So we'll cut that out. I have to calculate that. And I haven't gone through all these dimensions yet because it's not exactly like the picture that you saw. This is bigger, much bigger, and much heavier and much bulkier, and we're going to do this a little bit differently than that, but same fundamental style. And then I have to do a slot in here for the lever arm to hinge on. And then we'll have to lay out this. This will be 2 lever arms. I've got to drill some holes down the middle here, as well as in here for screws. So where the dado is, we're going to screw it together, and we'll screw it together at the base. These boards, I have to mark, I have to drill, and then I have to rip it in half so that we have cute little notches to hang our weight on for the lever arm. And then we'll take out a portion here of the middle. We'll band it or gusset it, what I want to call it, with the 1/2 inch material on either side of it, like I showed you in the drawing, so that you have a gap there for this piece to go through. And then we got to mark and drill this. So I have multiple holes for different heights of different press locations, and I have to narrow this down. So I'm going to trim off of here and get that shape. All of this requires layout. I think it's probably be the easiest for me to just go ahead and lay it out, mark it on all the pieces that need to be marked, so that we are, I'm sure of all the cuts and things that I need to do. And then I will we'll look at doing a review of those locations and dimensions and the reasons for them, to help you in any layout that you may wish to do on yours. And then I'll go ahead and get everything cut out. After that, we'll be doing a whole lot of round over. So I've gotten my router table out to get a little round over bit in there, and I got a couple other ideas. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not. I got a concept that I'm thinking about. Let me think on it a bit before we consider doing it. But I got a lot of. Then I'll have a lot of sanding to do. I will be finishing, as I did with my apple presses, I will be finishing these pieces individually, as each one is its own component, and then if something were to ever happen, any good woodworker could take that component and measure it and duplicate it and make a replacement, so that something falls on it, it drops, and for whatever reason one of these gets split or cracked or something, that you could always repair it and fix it. It's the way I think. It also helps, and I guess we'll go into that discussion now, because this is going to be pressing cheese, milk, after it's been set to curd, and you're pressing the curd, and the curd is going to be releasing the whey. The whey is a milk product. It is and it will be wanting to run off and drip off on this thing. So these whole pieces will be polyurethane so that we protect the wood, because the wood's porous and it would want to absorb that. So we don't want the whey getting into the cracks and crevices to where it could go foul, go spoiling. So one of the let's just talk about it. One of the things I was thinking about is getting a little what do you call that? Cove bit? Yeah, core bit. They're going to call that a core bit, but a nice little round bit right here that'll leave a little dish. And I'm considering, may or may not, but I'm considering putting a little groove like you've seen on cutting boards to collect the juices of meats and stuff, and running one around here with a intended drain location on the side here, maybe so that if any whey that comes off of anything being pressed would want to flow through that and then out in a specific place so that you know where it's going to go. It's a thought. I'm not sure about whether I want to do that, but we'll have to see. Right now I'm very mostly concerned about just getting the layout done on all these boards so that I know what the next phase of shaping everything is. And so there you go. So give me a little bit and we'll be right back and see what we got. And we're back. It's sometime after lunch here, and it's taken me a little bit longer. Had a phone call, took me a little distraction, but it took me a little longer to do this than I was anticipating, simply because I took the time to measure through, think through, and make for sure that the markings I had were very neat and very, very accurate. So I've gone through and I've marked all the pieces, and let's walk through markings so that you can see. Let's start with the lever arm, and I told you the two are here, and you can see where I'm going to round the end here. I'll be ripping it right down the middle, and then I'll be cutting this out, and then I'll be cutting this out after I've ripped it, and then I'll use these two pieces here in conjunction with the overlap pieces that I'll cut out of this board. And so once I set the blade off the fence on the table saw, then I'll be able to run these, and we'll cut them to length, and I'll be leaving 3 inches between these two where I take them out. I've got locations for my holes here, as you can see, and one of the girls is flying there. It's quite cold out here for you, little lady. You should be back at home with your family. So we've gotten this marked out. We'll have to drill a hole here for a quarter inch bolt, shoulder bolt, to go all the way through for this to ride on as the pivot pin. And then once these holes are drilled, they're going to be slightly larger than quarter inch. I probably am going to go maybe as much as a 3/8 to provide a nice notch left there once we cut through here. So that is the lever arms. Let's take a look at the push rods, and I have a radius cut here, a center, let's see, not that center point, but I've got a mark here, 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 and here, to have different locations for bolting through the lever arm there. Hey, Miss Mittens. And then the wider part of the foot, again, as shown here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do to attach this, whether I'm just going to screw it on or what. I'm not real sure about that. Have to think about that. What you doing, little girl? Say hi. She's my quiet one. You don't see her come out very often. Most of you haven't seen her very often in any of my videos. Usually shadows around. Boy, Smokey, and this breeze is getting pretty ripe. I'm gonna tell you what, it's nice out here, but that breeze cuts through you. So we'll get this cut out. I will be, once I get the shape cut out, I will take the quarter round and round all the corners really nicely, making it nice and smooth and easy to handle. Then I have a slot here, and it's actually just a hair undersized because I found a little hole in a grinding disc to use as a circle, and it's, by the time the blade width gets in here and cuts it, it will actually be the right width, but it's like just a hair narrower than it will be, but it is at the right width. And so once these are rounded off, it should slide through there. Now, this piece with this hole in the center is intended to go into the dado that will be right there, as shown by those two lines on both sides for the vertical uprights. And that's all I'll need to cut for it, for this piece to fit to guide through, because that's the upper guide. This is the lower guide, and as you can see, I have notches here. These corners will stay fairly square. I may do some light rounding on them. I'm going to put the quarter round on the outside edge of it, but you can see once they get cut out, they're going to ride inside the slot that's going to be cut on the side. And this is going to be a 2-inch width. This is a 2-inch width, and I'm 3 inches up from the bottom to give me height up off of here, plus the width of the foot, or the height of the foot. So I've calculated my elevation is the lowest I can go here. And so we got a 2-inch slot that will go through up and down. This will ride in the slot up and down, and then we need a hole in the upper part of this for the lever arm. So once the lever arms are cut out, we'll have a 1/4-inch hole that will go through the side here all the way through. So there will be a hinge bolt here, as you see in the picture. What do you think there, Mittens? What do you think? And in a hole where the lighting's bad here, in a hole right where the dot is, and of course I already explained that. So we've gotten all the pieces. It's marked out for this set and for that set, and now it's just a matter of going ahead and getting it all cut out. So I will be drilling out all these holes and then coming in with a jigsaw and then cutting out the slots in them here and here and all of these. And that's going to take me a bit. Like I say, I don't show you all me doing that. Some channels like to just show video. Oh, ow, you got prickly. Video of them doing it as they explain. I'm better at explaining as I'm going along. So I'm assuming that most of the people who are going to be watching this are going to be interested in the actual how-to part, and that's what I try and focus on. I'm going to assume that you know how to use a jigsaw. I'm going to assume you know how to put a dado into a piece of wood and such. So there you go. This is about the style of the design and the information around it. So we're going to get all this done. Then we got a lot of rounding over and a lot of sanding to do, and after that, a lot of shaping. So I'll have to shape out all these rounds on the belt sander and whatnot. We're going to get all the pieces trimmed out and shaped up to the place that they need to be. Then there will be a tremendous amount of sanding. But let's see what we can do. I'll show you these, hopefully cut out. I don't know how far we'll get today because of the... What was that all about, Mittens? But we'll see. Alright, we'll catch back in a second. Alright, folks, looks like this is going to be the end of the probably part 2. I think this one's gone on long enough. And I'm nearing the end of my sunlight. I only have a few hours here in the wintertime, but I was doing pretty good. I had some slight variations in the way I marked these up. So this was marked up at a 2-inch hole, and I was using, was it this one? Not that, yeah, that one, I think. That one, and I marked this one at 2 1/8, just because I was using the same offset here for the same thickness, and then I figured this would be, it wouldn't matter. I could have done them both at 2, but I've already started this, and I probably should have just stuck with this 2-inch, because that was making a pretty decent cut for these holes. However, I decided to step it up to a 2 1/8, and I broke open a new package of these hole saws that I got at your cheap Chinese company there, Harbor Freight. Some of the stuff they've got is pretty good. Some of it, well, it leaves you wanting. There's Shadow. Hey, Shadow. Brr, she says brr. And, well, it wouldn't cut. It started burning it, and you can see the inside of that hole. And so I said, okay, let me break out the Dremel, put my little cut-off wheel on there, and I went ahead and I sharpened this, and I made sure to sharpen each tooth based on its kerf and its angle, and you can kind of see it, and it's pretty sharp. But I went back to proceed to drill in the hole, and it's still burning the heck out of the wood, and I really don't want a bunch of burnt wood in there. And I got 1, 2, 3 more holes to cut, and I'm not interested in burning up the wood. So I think I'm going to try and modify this, because you can see, like right there on that tooth and that tooth and that tooth and that tooth, where it's starting to polish the outer edge of it. And I think that's because I don't actually have a Shadow. Move. Go. I don't have a proper kerf on it. And that's what's burning it. So it's that edge right there that's just rubbing. So I'm going to have to adjust those teeth all the way around there. And I think I'm going to try and, I don't know, bend them out, tap them out or something. But I'm going to improve this so that it is actually cutting the wood instead of rubbing and burning it, because it's pretty sharp otherwise. It's sharp on the top, but it is this outer edge of that tooth that is rubbing on the inside there. So I'm going to have to play with that. And I'm going to do my homework here. So I'm going to finish all these holes, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut the slots in them, as you can see. It'll be ready to cut all of these, and all of the ones that need it for each purpose. And here's our bolt holes for our press plate, and then rip that one down with all our notches in it, and our bolt holes for the lever arm. We're going to get all this together, and probably next time you see me, I'll get that situated so that hey, maybe I don't do that too bad. But long day, and yep, there goes the sun on the lower part of that panel. I could move it back here a little bit. Rooster? What, is there a bird flying over? What's up? Yep, what's up there? That's his warning. Must be a eagle or something up there. Alright, so that's all I've got for you on this. We're getting there, making a good move. I don't know, hopefully, maybe only a part 3. I mean, we're nearly there. There's only a little bit left to do here for cutout, a little bit of and then it's on to the sanding, and then it will be the finishing, which is polying each piece by itself, or finishing each piece by itself. And then assembly, and assembly won't take very much. We're only talking, what, 2, 4, 6, 8 screws, and 8 screws per each, and 2 bolts for each. I think it pretty much covers it. All right, we'll catch you on part 3. See you then.